Good morning. This is Monday, October the 6th of 2025. And just FYI, it is not even 5:30 and I have been up since 3 o'clock. And I have washed 2 loads of clothes. I've washed the dishes and I've made an angel food cake. So if there are any prizes being given out today, I think I deserve one. Now, why am I up at 3 a.m., you may ask? Have you ever slept and you kind of woke up and your head was hurting right through here? I don't know if I was dreaming or what happened, but I just got up, made the bed, put some clothes in the washer. Now, I thought, I'm gonna make an angel food cake because I do like angel food cakes. And you can buy them at Kroger already made, but they're not as good as these. Now, this is what I made this morning. An angel food cake. So then whenever I put my glasses on, I thought I better check and see what the expiration date is, because did you know, I read many years ago that outdated cake mix can make you really sick. I almost want to say it could kill you, but I'm not going to go to those extremes because I can't remember for sure. But the date on it is like the end of May of 2025. I thought, I hate to throw that away. May, June, July, August, September, October. It's only 5 months past the due date. And how does it know what the due date is? Does it know on that date to go, and it's old and it's going to make you sick? I don't think so. So I just looked it up. Like Grandma Lois, she just always Googles it to see what the truth is. And Mr. Google said you can use them up to a year. I'm not going to do that. But I want to show you this if it's not too hot that I can pick it up. I want you to look at this beautiful angel food cake. I set the timer for the least amount of time for it to cook, which was like 35 minutes. Honey, that thing was bubbled up over that pan. But I thought, it's not done, so I added 5 minutes. Now, when it cools down a little bit, I'm going to take a knife and just run it around the rim and put it out on a plate and put it in a cake box. I have cake boxes. I think I've got 3 or 4. I went on a spree one time. You know, I can't just buy one of something and be happy. I bought 3 or 4. Never used 3 or 4. Don't know why I bought them. But I'm going to put that in a little cake box and set it over here on my counter. And I'll just pinch me off a piece whenever I get ready to. Because I'm the only one that's going to eat it. If my girl was here, she wouldn't eat a bite of it for nothing. And my husband probably would not either. So Max and me will enjoy that. He loves angel food cake. And if I have a bite, he has to have a bite. So here it is, early in the morning. I've already got my cake made. I'm going to be eating on that this week. I got me a Little Caesars pizza yesterday, and I thought, I can eat that for lunch this week. So I ate me a couple pieces yesterday, put the rest of it in the refrigerator. I can warm it up in my air fryer, and it's just like it's just freshly cooked. If you've not tried that, I advise you to do that, since I am on a cooking. Oh man, it's untelling what I'll cook today. Or maybe nothing. Who knows? Stick around and you'll find out. See my air fryer over there in the corner? It's just waiting for breakfast. It's waiting for me to put that bacon in there. cook that egg in there in that greasy bacon grease. Hey, it's going to be a beautiful day. It is as dark as it's dark 30. So let me read you. Today I pray for your presence in the hearts and homes of all of my loved ones. I pray for your presence in the hearts and homes of all my loved ones. That's a nice one, isn't it? And let me read you a little bit just in the upper room, this prayer that I thought was so good. I have moved this iPad about 3 or 4 times just trying to get the lighting where I didn't look just completely red. And I don't know. Hopefully this won't scare you off. So let me hold this up. It says, Dear God, this lesson, now this was last Friday's, and buddy, it fit me for Friday, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I hope I didn't read it to you last Friday. Hey, if I did, I'm going to read it again. The title of this little lesson for Friday was Dispel Anxiety. Dear God, comfort us in our anxiety. Help us to trust that you're with us and that we are held in your love. That's a good one, isn't it? Do you ever have anxiety? I've never had an anxiety attack, but I've heard of a lot of people that have. It must be terrifying. They say it feels like a heart attack. But let me catch you up about my dear husband. On Friday afternoon, he was moved to the rehab/nursing home. And it hurt. It hurt. But you know, he's strong. And he just said it'll be all right because he knows that I can't lift on him and take care of him right now. So today, Monday, he's going to start his rehab, and I feel confident that he's going to do wonderful, and he's going to be out of there and back home before you can snap your fingers. So you all just remember him in your prayers. Remember everyone on our prayer list. Let me add these 1 or 2. Patty's husband is not well. Now, you know I have a lot of Patties, but she knows who she is. And Dottie, we've got a new sub from North Carolina, and I'm so excited. Dottie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Still have so many prayer requests. Let me just tell you about yesterday. On Saturday, I thought, I'm just exhausted from, over a week driving to the hospital, staying for a while, coming home, da-da-da-da-da. I thought, Sunday, I'm just going to stay home and rest. I deserve it. Well, would you believe my girl decided on Saturday afternoon that she would go back to college. So she packed up and left. So I got up Sunday morning and I was just kind of lollygagging around. And the little church that I normally go to, we didn't have it yesterday because of some other circumstances in one of the families. And so I thought, I'm just going to lay around here and take it easy. I'd go out maybe and see my husband, come home, take a nap, because you have to have a nap on Sunday, and then go back out later in the afternoon and visit him for a while. Well, I don't know what I was doing. I was just messing around here. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm retired. I've got all week to rest. I'm going to church. I I need to go to church. What do I mean sitting at home? If my dad, who is in heaven, I hope he did not look down and feel my thoughts about that I deserve to stay home. So I got ready and I went out by the nursing home and stayed about 30 minutes with my husband. And then I went to my best friend's church. Now, I've told you about me going to Tennessee and singing with my dad for 5 years. But the last few years, I have not felt like singing. And I don't know really when the last time it was that I sang at church, except that I did at the revival last week. I told you that. Well, when I got to this church, one of the girls, maybe that plays the piano, wasn't there yesterday, so they asked me to play. We played When We All Get to Heaven, and it sounded great. I mean, they have about probably 60 something that were there, I would guess. And so whenever they sing, several of them come up and stand up there by the piano. We sang When We All Get to Heaven. It was really good. That's one of my favorite songs. Then I decided to sing. So I felt, I just think so many times that we get in a rut and we just take so much for granted that I talked. I think, I may become a preacher, who knows. I talked, I guess, 5 minutes, just thanking God for all of his blessings. And do we recognize the blessings that we have every day? Just the little things. Being able to walk around, being able to get out and get in your car and drive. Which I might add that I'm very excited because I'm going to Kroger today. I'm going to drive to Kroger. I've got 3 or 4 coupons, and I'm going to enjoy my little grocery shopping because I'm thankful to be able to do that. So after that, I sang a song. One of my favorite songs to sing is I'd Rather Have Jesus. If you don't know the words to that song, you need to look it up. It's very so true. That should be the desire of all of us. We had a really good service. And I thought to myself later, I almost missed that blessing by staying home. I'm so glad I went. And I got to see some of my good friends that I don't get to see that often. Plus, guess what? I told them about my YouTube channel, like 3 or 4 of them, and they said, we're going to go home and watch it. So see, I may have some new subscribers just from going to church. And dear Lord, I did not go for that reason. And you know it. But anyway, I had a great time. Came home, fooled around, and went back out to see my husband. And speaking of him, he has an iPhone, and he loves to watch those little short videos on Facebook. Now, he doesn't watch YouTube. And so we've been wanting to get him a TV in his room because it is very depressing. And I mean depressing. I said, can I get you a book to read with, like large print? No, he didn't want that. What about a word search book? No, he didn't want that. The TV? No, he didn't want that. He said, I'll just watch Facebook on my phone. Well, you can't watch Facebook 12 hours a day, can you? But he says he does not want a TV. So as of right now, we're not getting one. And then if he changes his mind, we'll get him one. I've got one here at the house. So before I left yesterday, I said, do you want to watch my YouTube? He said, I don't know. I said, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm talking about you. So if you want to watch it, I don't care. But just know that you are being talked about. Nothing too bad. So I showed him how to get on it. So he didn't call me last night, which he normally does. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll have to let you know. So I'm going out there after a while, and if he don't speak to me, I'll know I've said something to make him mad. But I don't think he will. Because I told him a long time ago, I said, remember, anything you say to me is fodder for my YouTube channel. So be careful. So we'll just see how that goes. Hey, Saturday, I'm telling you the weather around here in Kentucky, I don't know what about where you are. It has been gorgeous. I mean, the sun shining, not humid, just gorgeous. So on Saturday, I met some of my cousins. And we did this last year, and we had a great time. We just met for, I think some of us stayed about 3 hours. We met at this little park that has one of those little food trucks there. We ordered something to eat. We sat and talked and just reminisced about things happening when we were growing up. Talking about our grandfather a lot. He loved to play croquet, and he loved to play rook. And I mean, he played for blood. There was no teasing, no laughing going on. It was serious business. And I'm happy to say that I was never his partner, because my grandmother would play as his partner, and he would jump all over her if she played the wrong card. I don't know why she wanted to play with him. But we all, even some of my, well, in fact, it was my dad, his brother, and he had 2 sisters. There were 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 grandchildren in all. And I was the only girl. I was the only girl out of 9 grandchildren. So they kind of pet on me, you know, because I'm a girl and they're just used to all those boys. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed seeing all of them. And before I went down there, I mean, I've been pretty tired all week with all this mess going on. And I thought, I don't know if I've got the energy to go down there. And my dear sister-in-law drove down to my house, and we went on down. And when I left there, I thought, I'm so glad that I went, because I hardly ever see them. And we're all, except maybe one, 70, between 70 and 78. And they all live, you know, different places. One of them drove probably 2.5 hours to get here. So I'm so thankful we got to spend that time together. And I think everybody had a great time. Also, my first cousin, or he might be my second cousin, 2 second cousins that we love dearly, they came too, so we had a great time. So thankful for that. I wish I can't even hardly read my notes. It's so dark in here, and my little light that I charge up, this one right here, it's about dead. So I can't depend on it. Let me tell you this. I was outside the other day on the porch, and I was looking. Do you remember back in the spring, I showed you a video of my garden, which I had 4 red onion bulbs and like 3 tomato plants. Well, I've pulled them all up now. Those tomatoes, I bet we did not, 3 tomato plants, just normal big tomatoes. I bet we didn't get 5 tomatoes off of them. It's the awfulest looking things it ever was. the 4 onions. Now, I have never known anyone that could not grow onions, because all you do is stick that bulb down in the ground. And when you have them out in a garden, you don't water them. You just let the rain water them. Well, I did water them every once in a while. Well, one of them would disappear. And then another one disappeared. I had one that I thought was going to be edible, which I wasn't going to eat it, but I just thought I might use it to cook with. It ended up dying. So out of 4 onions, I got none. The tomatoes last week, I thought, I'm pulling them up. Now, Max did enjoy 1 or 2 that he could reach. I mean, I just couldn't believe that I failed at growing onions. Nobody fails at growing onions. Now, if you were growing carrots or something like that, I can see, because they're harder to grow. But onions, no, that's probably the easiest thing in the world. Let me see what else I was going to tell you about. You know, I was telling you about having those bees out here by my garage, like between the brick and the vinyl of the garage door. And then, like, where the brick is, some of the mortar has chipped out of there over, since we've lived here, you know, in the 70s. Now, I don't like to kill. I started to call them animals. I don't think we call them animals. I don't like to kill. I mean, if I walk out here on the porch and there's a bug crawling across the porch, I'm not going to step on it, because it's out in its environment. Now, if it's in my house, that's a different story. So these bees, I've got to get rid of them, because in order to get into my car, I have to walk right around where they are, and I don't want to get stung. So I've used Hot Shot, I've used Hornet and Wasp spray, didn't phase them. I've used all kinds of spray. So the other day, when I got the little chickens for the girls, you know, to put in their goodie bags, I got a can of Yellow Jacket spray. I thought, that's gonna get them. And it had one of those little tiny straws on it. It didn't get them. I don't know where they're at. My husband and my brother-in-law have decided they could be up in the attic of, who knows where they are, who knows how big that nest is. So I got on the internet, I do every once in a while, to check on things like this, and it said to use like 7 that dust that you put on your garden. So I had some out there in the garage, so I sprinkled a little of that around, and I think that kind of dazzled them a little bit. But last night I noticed they were still 1 or 2 of them flying in and out. So my husband said that he thought that he had read somewhere, like, you take a Coke bottle. Now, I took one of those big 2-liter Coke bottles empty, and cut it about halfway down, and I put a whole ski in there and some Dawn dishwasher detergent, and then turn that top half upside down so that the top of it will go down in that stuff. And he thinks that that will attract them to get in there to that sweet ski, and then when they get down there, they'll drown. So I fixed that yesterday afternoon, so we'll see if it works. I don't know. I'll let you know. But I don't know how to get rid of those things. And I mean, I had also looked up something about yellow jackets. They can sting over and over and over again. So, I mean, it's not like if one of them lands on you, it's just going to say, I've been here. It's going to just sting, sting, sting. And I don't need that. Because you can always be allergic to bees. You may not be allergic all your life, and then you could get stung and you'll be allergic. So kind of avoid those. Now, what do you think about The Secret Garden? I'm telling you, I'm loving that book, and so many people are. If you've not got anything to do and you're just hanging loose, you might want to watch it. It's good. And it's going to be over here before probably 3 or 4 more readings, and it'll be over. But I've got another one I'm going to read. My nose is itching. I hope it doesn't mean anybody's going to visit. I've got just a little tiny funny story, and I think that's all I was going to tell you this morning. I was just anxious to get you caught up on, I told my girl, a couple weeks ago, I said, when you take those goodie bags back to school, I want a video showing you all opening them, because I love to hear them giggle. Well, she sent one last Sunday, but when she set her phone up to video it, they were on like each side. I couldn't even see either one of their faces. But they loved them anyway. So I said, this time, you make sure that I can see your faces. I wish you could have seen them when they saw those chickens. They giggled and laughed. They had the biggest time with those ever was. So they liked them just as much as we all thought they would. Now I got to come up with something else. Here's just a little short funny story because I've got to get off here. It is now almost 6 o'clock. I've got clothes in the dryer and the washer, and I've got a cake made and got the dishes washed and the bed made. What else? I may take a nap. This says, I thought the dryer made my clothes shrink. Turns out it was the refrigerator. Hey, I hope you have a great day. It's going to be beautiful. They're giving a chance of rain this week, and I'm sure we could use some rain. So just be nice and kind. Don't be griping because nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares if your head's hurting. And I hope to see you on Wednesday. Plus, I hope by tomorrow to have a couple more chapters of The Secret Garden. So hang in there with me, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.